Weapon kits in Splatoon 3 range from some of the most synergistic kits ever to absolute trash. This is the main reason why people want third kits, so that weapons have another chance to get a better kit and live up to their full potential. But for this video, I wanted to focus on the bad side of kits that do nothing for the weapon, and make some of my own for a few weapons, and then go over why they're bad. If you enjoy, consider leaving a like and commenting your own horde kits. Anyways, starting us off is Decavitator. I picked Decavitator because I like the weapon, and because I found the perfect special to give it. So for the sub weapon, a lot of sub weapons actually have minimal synergy with Decavitator. Like, I was thinking about Toxic Mist because of how much ink it takes up, which Decavitator can't really do willy-nilly. But then I remembered that trapping opponents exists with Toxic Mist, which can work really well with Decavitator. So for the sub weapon, I decided to go with Ink Mine. I was looking for something that does nothing for the main weapon, and Ink Mine sits in positions where Decavitator doesn't want to be. And while Ink Mine can trap people, unless you sit on the Ink Mine the whole time, it won't really help with the main weapon. Now it's time for the special, and oh my god, it's actually so perfectly bad. So for the special, I chose Wavebreaker. Now, not only is Wavebreaker Decavitator's mortal enemy as a special when fighting it, and not only is it just a bad special, but Wavebreaker just makes players too unpredictable for Decavitator. Let me explain. So Decavitator works best when people are on the ground, but Wavebreaker makes people jump around, making it hard to actually get hits. So this makes the main weapon worse, and on top of that, it's 210p, so have fun with this kit. The next weapon I'm going to ruin is Luna Blaster. Now, the reason I picked this weapon is because it has an almost good kit that's held back by mostly Ultra Stamp, but you see, the thing is, I hope this weapon never sees success ever. But anyways, I noticed that Luna doesn't really have the best mobility in paint, which rules out my initial pick, Angle Shooter, because you can sort of kind of use it like a burst ball, along with all of these subs. So instead, I gave it a Squid Beacon. Sure, you can jump to it, but that's all it does for Luna. Except for the very situational use case where you can use your massive AoE to hit in spots where the beacon tracks people on the map. But again, this is very niche and situational, and probably would never happen. Now for the special, the worst fit I could think of is Splatter Color Screen, because it doesn't really help with any of Luna's weaknesses. And Screen only really works on weapons with range, which isn't one of Luna's strong suits. This is an issue because people are going to be staying away from the screen, so you can't even really get anyone, and it's just too predictable that you'd be staying too close to it. Next up is Splat Dualies. I chose this weapon because it already has a good kit and a decent kit, so we have to balance it out with a terrible kit, of course. So Dualies' only real weakness is its raid, I'd say. So anything that can compensate for that would be good for it. Hence why the regular kit has Crab Tank and a Suction Bomb to poke. So for my kit, I wanted to refrain from addressing that weakness completely, so for the sub weapon, I chose Point Sensor. Point Sensor not only doesn't help with paint or with the range or damage at all, but the location is not really as helpful on Dualies, specifically on Point Sensor, because instead of poking like Suction, it makes the weapon play a more supportive role, which it can't really do because of the range disparity. Now for the special, Ink Vac. Simply because Vac is trash, and it literally does nothing to help Dualies. Like, I actually can't think of anything that Dualies can benefit from Vac, so I think it's perfectly terrible. So for the last one, I just asked myself, what's a weapon that's whole purpose is feeding or just fighting all the time? And the first thing that came to mind was Tetras or Dapples, but I just didn't want to do another dually, so instead I chose Sploosh-o-Matic. So let me explain why I wanted a fighting weapon. For the sub, I gave it a Splash Wall. Wall only really works on weapons with range, and I'm fairly sure that Sploosh has the least amount of range in the entire game, so Splash Wall is just really funny because you'll never be able to use it well because you're only going to be hitting things right in front of the wall, so it's pretty much completely useless. Now the main reason I wanted to pick a heavy fighting weapon was because of the special. Wall already restricts the weapon from moving where it wants, but this weapon cannot play supportive at all, and frankly it doesn't want to, so that's why I gave it Tactical Lure. It is not going to get more than like 2 per game because the weapon doesn't paint, and I made it 10 points for special, so there you go. Anyways, it was fun going through Nintendo's thought process when they make 70% of the kits in the game. This was an interesting idea because it helped me to understand some of the weapon's weaknesses a bit more, and maybe it did for you too, who knows. But anyways, that's all I got. Subscribe if you thought this was insightful. Come join the Discord linked in the description if you want to hang out. I don't usually advertise it because I forget to, but you should definitely come to hang out there. Anyways, have a good one.